Welcome learners, this is the third video on the lesson A Letter to God. I broke it up into three videos because the video was getting too long. Okay, in this video we'll discuss the questions and answers in detail. The letter had been sent, the second letter had been sent in which Lancho asked for the remaining 30 pesos and he complained that all the crooks in the post office had taken 30 pesos. Okay, so here are two questions for your oral comprehension check. The first one asks, was Lencho surprised to find a letter for him with the money in it? No, he was not surprised because he was certain that he would definitely get a reply from God. That such was his faith in God. It was completely unshaken and unquestioned. And what made him angry? Because the envelope was short by 30 pesos. While he had asked for 100 pesos, he got only 30 and that made him angry. Okay, now let's move on to thinking about the text. Let me turn off the video now. Thinking about the text, what does Lencho have complete faith in? Okay, this is a very easy question. Of course, God. Which sentences in the story tell you this? You need to read the text and find them. And to be able to find them, I have included the text, the PDF file in the classroom, so you can download the file and see for yourself. You have to find sentences. Why does the postmaster send money to Lencho? Because he wanted to do some good. He did not break. He wanted to break the unshaken faith that Lencho had on God. So that Lencho, here's the answer. These are the points you can write in your answer. So that Lencho's faith in God remains unshaken. Wanted to help the poor man, and secondly, he wanted to help the poor man. Why does he sign the letter? God. Because he wanted to give the appearance that the money had come from God, not from the postmaster. To give the appearance that the money had come from God. The next question asks, did Lencho try to find out who had sent the money to him? No, he did not try to find out because he was sure, he was certain that God would definitely send him the money he had wanted. It shows his naivete and his simple nature. The fourth question, what does Lencho think has taken the rest of the money? Who does Lencho think has taken the rest of the money? He thought that the post office, the people, employees in the post office had taken away the money. The next question is asking, what is the irony in the situation? It's ironic because the people who wanted to help him were called crooks by Lencho. The ones who tried to help were suspected of robbing. And situations like this are called ironic situations. In the first video we talked about this. Situation in irony means it occurs when somebody does something hoping to get something, hoping one result, but the opposite happens. For example, situational irony would be a thief's house being broken into, being robbed while he was also robbing somebody else's house. I have included a few more examples here. Yes, here the police station getting robbed is an example of situational irony. A post on Facebook complaining how useless Facebook is. It's ironical because if Facebook is useless, why are you using it to complain? And then the gift of the Magi by O. Henry. In the story, the wife cuts her long hair and sells it to have the money to buy her husband a pocket watch chain. And he sells his watch to buy her a hair accessory, a clip, leaving both with a useless gift, which is not what they had expected for their efforts. The next question is asking you to talk about Lencho's character. So are there people like Lencho in the real world? Yes, there are people who are quite naive. Like some people still believe that the earth is flat. What kind of a person would you say he is? So these are the three adjectives you can use about him: naive, stupid to some extent, and of course unquestioning. He never questions anything. He was so certain about his faith. There are two kinds of conflict in the story: between humans and nature and between humans. So what are the conflicts? How does the conflict between man and nature show? This is how it shows. The rain destroying lentils crops. He was hoping to get a good crop, but all his expectations, all his hopes were dashed when nature decided otherwise. She completely destroyed his crop and left him destitute. And then between humans, how is it shown? It is shown through the lack of trust, and the lack of trust is reflected when Lencho uh, believes that the employees in the post office were crooks who had taken away his money, who in fact had given him the money. It is reflected through the mistrust Lencho harbors for other people. He assumes that the employees in the post office steal his money. It has happened because of his distrust of men and unshaken faith in God. Okay, thinking now, let's move on to thinking about language. Here you need to fill up some gaps. Storms, the word storm has many different words in the English language, and depending on the speed and intensity of the storm. So you need to know them. You just have to fill out the gaps. Some hints have been given here. The first one is the third letter is C, so that is cyclone, a violent tropical storm in which strong winds move in a circle, sorry. An extremely strong wind, Gale, gale, the second letter is A, so it has to be gale. A violent tropical storm with very strong winds, the third letter is P, so see, look for here, typhoon, a violent tropical storm. A violent storm whose center is a cloud in the shape of a funnel, and that is tornado, number tornado, number 4. Number 5, hurricane, a violent storm with very strong winds. And then we have number 6, a very strong wind, only one is left, whirlwind. It moves in a spinning movement. Okay, in the next exercise, the word hope has been used differently. Let's see how you can use this word differently in different contexts. I'll show you. Will you get the subjects you want to study in college? And he says, I hope so. It means waiting something to happen and thinking it quite possible. Wanting something, sorry, and thinking it quite possible. And the second hope means, I hope you don't mind my saying this, but I don't like the way you are arguing. So it means showing concern. That is, what you say should not offend or disturb the other person. A way of being polite. The third is, this discovery will give new hope to HIV or AIDS sufferers. And this is the answer. This is the meaning of hope here. A feeling that something good will probably happen. Number 4, we are hoping against hope that the judges would not notice our mistakes. Here, hope means wishing for something to happen, although this is very unlikely. Number 5, I called early in the hope of speaking to her before she went to school. Here, hope means thinking that this would happen. It may or may not have happened. And number 6, just when everybody had given up hope, the fisherman came back 7 days after the cyclone. And here hope means stopped believing that this good thing would happen. Okay, the next exercise is about relative clauses. You need to use relative pronouns to join sentences. Relative pronouns are like whom, whose, and which. So 2 sentences have been given for each, and you need to join them using the relative pronoun given in brackets. Here is the answer. I often go to Mumbai, which is the commercial capital of India. My mother is going to host a TV show on cooking. She cooks very well. My mother, who cooks very well, is going to host a TV show on cooking. The next sentence. These sportspersons, just a second, I'm closing the. Okay, these sportspersons are going to meet the president. Their performance has been excellent. The answer is, The sportspersons whose performance has been excellent are going to meet the president. Number 4, Lancho prayed to God, his eyes see into our minds. Lancho prayed to God, whose eyes see into our minds. And this man cheated me. I trusted him. This man whom I trusted cheated me. Using negatives for emphasis, this is knowing form. When you sometimes want to emphasize, when you want to stress something, you use the negative form. And this is how the writer has used them in three different instances. The tree lost all their leaves, and you can say it like this to for emphasis. Not the leaf remained on the trees. The letter was addressed to God Himself. It was nothing less than a letter to God. Again, the word nothing, a negative indicator, has been used here. The postman saw this address for the first time in his career, and this is how the writer uses this sentence. Never in his career as a postman had he known that address. So you must have seen that the negative sentences are more forceful and emphatic. In this next table, we will discuss metaphors. Once again, I'm giving you a definition of metaphor. A metaphor is a comparison between two different things, two dissimilar objects, like the comparison between coins and raindrops is a metaphor. So here you need to fill out the table. On the left side, these are the words or objects that have been used as metaphors. So clouds, huge mountains of clouds. The clouds have been compared to huge mountains. And what quality of mountains have been used here? The mass or hugeness of mountains have been transferred to the word cloud. The second, raindrops, they've been compared to coins. And what quality is being compared here? The prosperity, the wealth that coins symbolize. Hailstones have been compared to pearls and salt. And what qualities? The roundness of pearls and the whiteness of salt. Locusts have been compared with a plague, a disease. The quality is disease because locusts can destroy, harm people. And here, this is a repetition. Plague. Plague can be compared to locusts and is an epidemic, a disease that spreads very rapidly and leaves many people dead. Nowadays, the coronavirus has become a pandemic affecting everybody in the world, almost all the countries in the world. So it is worse than an epidemic. A pandemic is worse than an epidemic. An epidemic is localized. It remains local. Like if it remained in China, you could have called it an epidemic. But now it has spread to the entire world. It's become a pandemic. Okay. Man here, an ox of a man is a phrase the writer has used. Here, man has been compared, his strength has been compared to the strength of an ox. Okay, you have been given a speaking activity here. Apart from, I'll give you a separate speaking activity which you will do. You will record yourself using your mobile phone or laptop and then upload it as an assignment in the class. Here you need to listen to a letter and then write the answers. The letter is given below. So after reading the letter, you'll be able to answer these questions. The answers are included here, but you can do it yourself after reading it. After when you download the text that I have included in the assignment. Okay, that's it for this lesson. Thank you.